Namaste devotees and Jai Sita Ram to each and every one of you. On behalf of the Shiv Shakti Mandir and my family, I'd like to wish each and every one of you a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Before we begin with our short program for this evening, devotees, I ask that we join together as we clasp our hands, close our eyes, focus our minds on the feet of Bhagwan Ganesh as we start by chanting these opening prayers. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Ishavasyam Idam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bhunjeta Ma Grudha Kasya Swedhanam Om Yam Brahma Varurendra Marutha Stunvanti Divistave Vedi Samaga Parakramopanidishe Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Taragatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yashyantam Naviru Sarasaragana Devaya Tasme Namaham Om Shantakaram Bhujaga Shayanam Padmanabham Surisham Vishwadharam Gagane Sadrisham Meghabaranam Shubhangam Om Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yongim Hiradhanagamyam Vanne Vishnu Bhavamaya Haram Sarvaloke Kanatham Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabham Nidavagaram Kurumene Va Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Raksha Raksha Ganadaksham Rakshatre Lokya Rakshakan Bhaktanam Bhayam Karta Trata Bhava Bhavarnavar Om Saraswati Mahabhage Vidhe Kamala Luchine Vidharupe Vishalakshi Vidhyam Dehi Namastute Om Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murti Puja Moolam Gurur Param Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam Moksha Moolam Gurur Kripal Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu Mangalam Garudadojam Mangalam Pundari Kaksham Mangalaya Tano Hari Om Karangre Vasate Lakshmi Karmule Saraswati Karamedye Tu Govinda Prabhate Karadarshanam Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Om Shri Gangadapate Namaham. Again, devotees, Namaste, Sita Ram to each and every one of you. Thank you all for joining us this evening as we perform our very special and also virtual Shri Ganesh Chaturthi Puja for this evening. And by puja, I really just mean a couple of prayers, a song, as well as a sermon. And I wanted to make it very obvious as to why we celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that Ganesh Chaturthi happens about every month. So there is a one-period date during every month in which it's very auspicious to worship our Lord Ganesh. And they're all referred to as a Chaturthi just because of the time of the month it is celebrated. However, and I cannot, if you are texting me about audio and stuff right now, I'm sorry, I can't do much about it. However, the only thing about it is that there's only one particular one in which it's very, very auspicious to celebrate and worship Lord Ganesh, and that is Ganesh Chaturthi. It's celebrated on the fourth day, hence the Chaturthi part of the month of Bhadrapad on the Hindu calendar, which is during the August and September time frame on the Gregorian calendar. So usually at the end of August or beginning of September. And it's auspiciously celebrated as the arrival of Lord Ganesh into this world. And it's also the arrival of Lord Ganesh to earth from Kailash Parvat with his mother goddess Parvati. Now, when it comes to Ganesh Chaturthi, it's important to understand the etymology behind how Lord Ganesh was created and essentially how he manifested on this earth. So there are two stories that are discussed with the creation of Lord Ganesh. I'm going to talk about the one first that's a little less described, and then we'll talk about the one that is more frequently told inside of temples, mandirs, and places around the world. So the first story that we have is one of balance. We recognize Lord Ganesh as the god of balance. Now I know we say the god of obstacles, but it's really the god of balance because there's a balance between obstacles in our life. Lord Ganesh we know is the destroyer of obstacles, and he's also the one who places obstacles in our way. But in another story, it was noted that Lord Ganesh was created by Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. On the request of the day was to create a being to be a Vigna Karata, which is a creator of obstacles. It's said that when the demonic forces were trying to take over the universe, there was no way to really stop them that was more influential. And so they had Lord Ganesh created, so that way Lord Ganesh could put obstacles in their way to make it more difficult for them to do their demonic things, for the most part, to spread evil in the world. So he's known as Vignakarata. Now, that also means that he creates obstacles for us. Obstacles are important because without those obstacles, we don't know how to learn. When a child is learning to walk, it is going to be filled with obstacles. So there's going to be different things they have to figure out in regards to balance, moving one foot in front of the other, and they're going to fall over time and time and time again until they perfect it, and all of a sudden, they're great at walking. So there are little obstacles that do get put in our path because they help us grow, they help us become better human beings, and they help us really make sure that we are getting to where we need to. It helps us figure out what our Dharma is and what our different sacrifices in life are. Again, it was done, and he was created as Vignakarata so that it would be obstacles that were created for evil or raksha so that odd Dharma cannot prevail in this world. The other request was for him to have the power of Vignaharata. So you have Karata and Harata. Harata is to avert obstacles. Essentially, it means anything that is inadequately in our way that we need to overcome, he'll help us eliminate that. He was given that power so he could assist the Devas to continue to spread Dharma in this world. So Vigna Karata, creator of obstacles, and Vigna Harata, the averter or the destroyer of obstacles. So we have to look at it in both perspectives. He creates obstacles to help us learn. He destroys obstacles that may not be necessary for us, but he also maintains that balance between good and evil, putting obstacles in the way of evil and removing obstacles in the way of good, so that way there's always balance in the world. Now that's the first story that we know and recognize with the Shri Ganesh Chaturthi and the creation of Lord Ganesh. The second story is one that's more commonly known, and it's things we hear through the Shiv Puran or any sort of old Vedic text that talk about the creation of Lord Ganesh. And it's in relation to Mother Parvati. So during a time when Lord Shiva was not home, Mother Parvati needed someone to guard the door of her home while she took a bath. And so from the earth around her, she created a child, and a young boy was created to guard the door that was in front of her. She left very specific instructions to that boy to guard the door and not let anyone through. That's what her instructions were. Do not let anybody through. Guard this door while I take my bath. So she departed to take her bath, and shortly after she left, Lord Shiva arrived back home to see a young boy guarding the door. A young boy that he had never seen before, a young boy that he had not known, a young boy that was never to his familiarity. So he attempted to enter his home, but that young boy stopped him. He wouldn't let him come through. Angry at this insult from the young boy, not letting him enter his own home, Lord Shiva got upset, very upset, thinking, who is this young man who will not let me enter my own home? The home that I founded, the home that I've created, the home that is for me and my wife. So he started to battle the young boy. And in this battle that became very intense, Lord Shiva severed the head of the young boy and left him at the front of the door. After completing her bath, Mother Parvati returned only to find that Lord Shiva had taken the life of the young boy that she had created. She was enraged by this because Mother Parvati instructed Lord Shiva that you have committed this act out of anger. You've used a cardinal sin to take the life of a child because you cannot control your temper instead of understanding the situation. I want you to promise me to bring that young boy back to life, but first he'll need a new head. Your sin is now your ownership. I want you to go out and make it right. So Lord Shiva instructed the Devas that served him to bring back the head of the first deceased creature that they found that was facing north, because north is a very auspicious direction. After searching for some time, the Devas found a deceased young elephant with one tusk that was facing north. They acquired the head of the young elephant and returned it to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva immediately fixed the head of the elephant to the body of the young boy and gave him new life. It was from this point that Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati took the young elephant-headed boy with great powers as their own son and adorned him with the name Ganesha. Gana meaning multitude and Isha meaning lord or ruler. So the ruler or the lord of multitude. And again, we talk about that with balance. He understands balance. He's the creator and he is that ruler of the multitude, but he makes sure that balance is maintained in this world at all times. So important is Lord Ganesh, because without his influence, the world does fall back out of imbalance, and therefore Adharma can rise and Dharma could fall. So it's important to understand those different aspects about the creation of Lord Ganesh. Now, One other thing that's really important for our devotees to recognize is that Ganesh Chaturthi is not just one day. I think we think of it as one day, but the main worshiping event for Lord Ganesh is that one day. Itself is a 10-day period. On the 10th day, which is known as Ganesh Visarajan or Ganesh Chudas, devotees complete their worship by offering idols of Lord Ganesh made of clay or other earthly items into a source of running water. So Ganesh Chaturthi is only one part of it, just like Diwali is not one day in particular, it's actually 5 days. So it's 10 days, and on the 10th day, we offer a murti of Lord Ganesh into the water. But remember what I say here, a murti that's made out of earthly items or clay. Now, when I say clay, I don't mean fired clay. We talk about something that will dissolve and go back into the earth. So offering things like plastic, resin, brass, those are not really considered appropriate. It's more appropriate to offer something that you've sculpted and then offer to the water yourself. Why is that murti made out of earth? It's made out of earth as his creation was also constructed from earth. That's the kind of example we have. Lord Ganesh was created by earth by Mother Parvati. But the murti also being made of earth is so that it, like I said, properly dissolves in water. And then the disappearance of an earth-made murti does represent that journey of the Lord Ganesh from our homes to return to his abode and Mount Kailash with Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva. So again, the other important feature there is that if you do not offer a murti made out of earth that will dissolve in water, you're not really sending Lord Ganesh on a journey back home, right? His body is not dissolving, his energy is not dissolving. So it's always important to have something that will dissolve in water, something that's not permanent, something that won't pollute our earth as well. And then why does Ganesh Chaturthi last for 10 days? It always starts on the 4th day of the month of Bhadrapad, as we had talked, and always ends in a day known as Anant Chaturdashi, which is the 14th day of the month of Bhadrapad. So if you ever get a Drikpanchik or some sort of calendar, it'll help guide you on those days. This day not only celebrates Lord Ganesh, but it also celebrates Lord Vishnu, his Ananta form, his infinite form. The word Ananta means endless, and Lord Vishnu resides in a reclining posture that signifies a state of spiritual rest. This form of the Lord Vishnu reminds us that one should remain undisturbed by happiness and sorrow and should remain at all times balanced in life. Only a person who remains in equilibrium can realize his true self. By letting our murtis of Lord Ganesh made of earth dissolve, we are understanding that at a point in time, the body has to finally dissolve in the Paramatma to achieve salvation, to have the soul return to its humble abode with Bhagwan. Despite letting the murti leave our lives, we know that our existence is and will continue to remain in a state of equilibrium, just as we know Lord Ganesh is always in our lives providing Vignaharata, or aversion to obstacles. So it's easy to sit down and put a flower on your puja plates and say a few words for Lord Ganesh. It's even more important to understand why exactly we do that. And we want to make sure that when we pray to Lord Ganesh, we understand that we need to have equilibrium in our lives, that we need to live in a state that's between happiness and sorrow and be okay with the result of any outcome that may come. That's what Ganesh Chaturthi teaches us on top of the creation of Lord Ganesh himself. And with that, devotees, that explains in full detail the reasons we celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi. Before we end with a closing prayer, I'd like to end with one final bhajan dedicated to Lord Ganesh, a Lord Ganesh prayer, and then we will end with our closing prayers as well. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva, Ladavana Kambonga Lage Santa Kare Seva, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva, Ekadanta Dayavanta Chara Bhuja Bhari, Mata Ke Sindur Sohe Musa Ke Savari, Dukiyon Ke Dukha Harata Paramananda Deva, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva, अंडन को आंकनित्य कुरियन को काया भंजन की पुत्र दित्य निर्धन को माया भाव से भर करो नाथ भजन करो तेरा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा जो तेरा ध्यान करो ज्ञान मिले उसको चोर तुझे और भल जाऊं मैं किसको हे देवा कृपा करो कष्ट हरो मेरा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा लड़वन का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. And we end devotees with some final prayers for Lord Ganesh. Om Yajananam Bhutaganaधिसेवितं कपीतजम्बू फलचारभक्षणम् ओमासुतं शोकाविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश वरपारपङ्कजम् ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ रक्ष रक्ष गणाध्यक्ष रक्ष त्रैलोक्य रक्षकार भक्तानां भयं कर्ता त्राता भव भवानवर ओम श्रीमन्महागणाधिपते नमः. प्रेम से बोलो गणेश भगवान की जय. And at this time, devotees, we join together as we offer our final closing prayers. As we clasp our hands, close our eyes, focus our minds on that beautiful, beautiful form of Lord Ganesh. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purunam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Om Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Akaschita Dukhabhag Bhave, Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam, Bhaktihinam Janardanam, Yatya Pujitam Maya Neva, Paripurnam Dharastu Me, Papoham Papu Karamaham, Papo Atma Papu Sambhava, Trahimam Pundarikaksham, Sarva Papo Haro Hari, Om Tvameva Matascha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityoma Mritam Gamaya, Hari Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Yahu Shanti, Antarikshagvam Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Rapa Shanti, Aushadheya Shanti, Vanaspati Shanti, Vishwadeva Shanti, Brahma Shanti, Sarvegvam Shanti, Shanti Deva Shanti Sama, Shanti Redhi, Hari Om Shanti, Shanti Shanti, Hari Om Tat Sat. प्रेम से बोलो गणेश भगवान की जय. प्रेम से बोलो शिव शक्ति मंदिर की जय. प्रेम से बोलो सनातन धर्म की जय. And with this, devotees, we've come to the end of our virtual Shri Ganesh Chaturthi Puja for this evening. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in who are watching this evening. To Uncle Steve and to Auntie Drew who are chatting in the chat. Sita Ram to you all. Thank you for putting a message out there in the chat for us. Just a few quick announcements, and these are some announcements that we did make at Mandir on Sunday. We do have a few events that are coming up in the month of September. Pitr Paksh is starting, and that begins on September 6th and ends on September 21st. We're not doing anything in the Mandir specifically for those dates. That is ancestral worship, so you can do that at home. Take a cup, put some till and some water in it, face south, and pour your water out while saying Om Pitri Bhyo Namaha. So again, that is Saturday, September 6th through Sunday, September 21st. And then right after that, we enter the period of Shara Naratri, which begins on Monday, September 22nd, and ends on Thursday, October 2nd. We will have one Sunday service in which we will perform our Sunday, our Navaratri Puja. That'll be Sunday, September 28th. But again, just know that the period of Navarat begins on September 22nd, ends on October 2nd. We do have some other events that are coming up, but we'll cover those as we get closer to those dates. Devotees, just know that's what we got coming up in the month of September. I do want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. I'm glad we can still get together, even if it's virtual, to worship together. I hope you all have a safe, happy, wonderful, healthy Shri Ganesh Chaturthi. I hope that you find that balance that you are so seeking in your life, and I hope you all have a great week, and I hope to see everybody this Sunday for our regular Sunday morning satsang. Jai Sita Ram, everyone.